Today we're doing beef bourguignon. In the beginning it seemed a little intimidating, but it's actually way simpler to make than many people think. You do need a lot of ingredients, which I will list as we go along. And the only intimidating thing about it is how long it takes to cook. The preparation time is around 45 minutes. The rest of the time, the cooking time though, is 6 hours. So, but apparently it is worth it. And it's one of those things, the longer, the slower you go with it, the better it tastes. So, alright, let's get started. Alright, so I will list all the ingredients and then we will go ahead and start cutting the meat. You need 6 slices of bacon cut into little squares. Then you need 3.5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. 3 pounds of stewing beef. You don't actually need, if you want to use deer meat or anything like that, you can use that too, but we chose beef. 1 large carrot, just one, and you slice it up. 1 large white onion, slice that up. 1 pinch of coarse salt, it's somewhere over there. 2 tablespoons of flour. 3 cups of red wine. You do need the red wine. It's very important, and you need a lot of wine. 1 tablespoon of tomato paste.
I think it's
2 cloves of smashed garlic. 1.5 teaspoons of thyme. 1 crumbled bay leaf. 18 to 24 small pearl onions. Those aren't very important. You don't need it. We don't have any.
Decide not to.
Yeah, we don't actually have any pearl onions, but because we have
Actual.
just to make sure, this is a serving size for 6 people over the course of a few days. So you don't need this much wine if you're planning to just have, 2 to 4. But this is 6. This is a nice amount. 3.5 tablespoons of butter. And 1 herb bouquet, that's just to decorate. So 4 sprigs of parsley, 2 sprigs of thyme, 1 bay leaf. And 1 pound of fresh white mushrooms. That's a lot. This isn't even a pound. We don't even have enough mushrooms.
To be fair, but we're not doing the 6.
Yeah, we're not cooking for 6 people. And that's it. So, now, first thing we do, we have to simmer the bacon. First of all, we have to cut it into squares. And we have to simmer the bacon in 4 cups of water for 10 minutes. Now, we also have bacon. We have both bacon and beef. It's necessary that you have both to add a variety in flavor. So what we have to do is, at the same time, if you have more than one person cooking, that is, at the same time you're cutting the bacon, you'll also want to start slicing up the beef. And it's relatively the same for both. You cut them to slabs, and you pat dry it with a towel, a paper towel.
Go. You have to dry each piece of meat for the tenderness and so it can cook properly, so there's no excess water being added while it's being slow roasted.
So I cut all the bacon, and now we're gonna have to put it in 2 cups of water to let it sit and simmer.
So for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Can I take this? Okay.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you spread it out evenly so it
Don't do what I'm doing and
properly.
use your hand directly.
Stay safe.
Yep.
Technically, at the same exact time you're simmering the bacon, you can simmer the beef as well. If you have, but
Just good that way.
you have to sear the beef on all sides until it's a nice brown color. There's not a specific. Also, when you're sautéing the bacon, you need to add 1 tablespoon of oil.
So I'm assuming that beef could adjust to anybody's preference.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Especially if you mean, like I said before, this is for 6 people. So if you're cooking this just for yourself, you need barely any beef at all. Or you can add a lot more. Technically, you don't need both beef and bacon. You can just have bacon or beef, but it adds a variety in the flavor. And technically, you can use any meat you want. You know, duck, chicken, deer, stuff like that. But we just went for the classic beef bourguignon that Julia Child. This is actually Julia Child's recipe. So I'm thinking it's gonna come out pretty good. You also want to, beef bourguignon is extremely easy to prepare when you have a team of chefs. But you also want to make sure you have all your vegetables ready, your carrots cut, your onions,
Potatoes peeled.
your onions peeled, your potatoes peeled, and your onions cut as well.
Does it matter what kind of potato?
I don't think so.
Small
no.
red potatoes for preference.
Yeah, small red potatoes preferably, but technically
they have a lot less starch.
How many potatoes Christian, for?
Oh no, if you
4
use,
potatoes.
If you use like fresh Idaho potatoes, it will take longer and it just has a different taste. We need
so
technically,
technically, apparently, you don't need potatoes.
Yeah, we do.
But we're just adding them.
We do need starch though.
To have that good Irish feel?
Yes, that good Irish feel, and add a little, you know,
Because,
you don't. That's the beauty about cooking. You don't have to
we put
follow
in
the
a
recipe
bowl,
exactly. In fact, you know,
filter through the water.
You can't.
It's actually kept and stuff.
You could experiment.
exactly experimenting. It's all about experimenting. Now, of course, I don't think you'd want to add white wine to something that requires red wine.
Definitely not.
But you know, you can add potatoes and all that. You can add noodles, anything like that. So we got the bacon nice and ready and prepared. Now what we have is we have to do pretty much the exact same thing for the beef. So we'll put the beef in the pan as well, and we simply want to sear it until it's brown, nice and brown, evenly brown on all sides, and then we'll move on to the next step. So we'll get some in the pan.
All right.
Nice.
There's no olive oil or anything. It's just straight up sear.
I could use olive oil if I really want to though.
Well, if you want to, yes.
Am I in your way?
Probably doing 3 or 4 pieces at a time.
Am I in your way?
No, you're fine.
Okay, good.
Now you want to make sure you quarter the mushrooms.
You don't have to add mushrooms, but it adds a lot of flavor
Yeah.
to the.
White mushrooms to be specific. If that's the classic, if you're going to add mushrooms, that you go with white.
Oh, spicy.
And we have the next up we add.
Cooked again, but that's not
Next
the point.
up we add the beef
Because now there's
and the
like
bacon into the crock pot.
meat bacteria.
Show.
Okay, once all the meat is cooked, you add that together in a pot, and you're supposed to have it cooked for 5 minutes, and then after that, you add the wine and the beef stock. Okay, you can open that. And then here comes once the wine and the beef stock have both been added, it's supposed to cook for 4 hours to make sure it has enough time to properly and evenly cook.
And as extra, we decided to put mushrooms and potatoes.
Now, when you're adding the wine and the beef stock, a good rule of thumb is to make sure that it doesn't completely drown the food. You want to make sure it doesn't, the wine and the beef stock, yeah, that's good. The wine and the beef stock doesn't, it's not straight up soup. It's, yeah. This is what it looks like. There we go.
There we go. Very nice.
Garlic. Now, this is supposed to be the section of the video in which we taste our creation for the first time, right? But thanks to someone eating it all, now that is not exactly possible. Luckily, we have tasted it before, just to see if it was horrible. But so now I will have to put together a mock reenactment of our true first impressions. So wish me luck. It's not bad. See, what I tell you, who's the master chef? Me. I'm the master chef. Told me it was too hard, it was too difficult to make beef bourguignon. Nope. Nope. It's okay. This recipe was brought to you by tablespoon.com. Now, it's bloopers time. Herb bouquet, that's just to decorate. So, 4 sprigs of parsley, 2 sprigs of thyme, 1 bay leaf. Those aren't very important either if you don't care about the aesthetics, because we're not Gordon Ramsay or anything, so we don't need those.
Where's the lamb sauce? Watch him. He just. He got his eye.
It's laughing.
It smells like pepper.
You get everything else in the video, but you don't get that.
I was looking at the potato.
Oh, that got my eye.